Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cubica AMF Seeds of Success podcast. Each week, we'll plant knowledge, insights, practical tips, and trends so your center can be a striking success. My name is Orly.
And my name is Dottie.
And today we're talking about self-service doesn't mean no service.
Yes, self-service. That's such a good topic, Orly. More and more we're seeing that all sorts of businesses are adopting this self-service model, right? Including
Yeah.
bowling centers and family entertainment centers. And, when we chose this topic, there's so many things that can play into it. First of all, self-service actually gives you an opportunity to just change the way that you interact with your customers. And I know in the beginning, when self-service started becoming a thing, there were a lot of employees that kind of got antsy, right? They're like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, what does this mean to me, for me? And so they started wondering if are they going to be replaced by this machine, right?
Yeah.
But that is certainly not the intent. Self-service, you're giving your customer an option to be able to kind of be in control of their purchase, or getting a lane, or checking in for a reservation, or ordering their food, whatever service you're offering off of your kiosk. And it's giving you, as an owner, or manager, the ability to now take your level of service to a more personal level. So
Yeah.
you hear self-service, and it really means the opposite. It means taking your level of service to even a more personal level, right?
Yeah. And I think how you said, employees were at first a little worried. I think the same thing comes from both sides. I think the employees and also the customer, employees think, oh no, is this, is my job going away? And the customer thinks, oh no, is somebody live not going to be able to help me anymore? And I think that's where you have to let people know that it doesn't mean no service, just because it's self-service.
100%. And when you are introducing the self-service model into your operation, you really need to do your due diligence, and you need to make sure that you are making sure that your employees know what the intent is of having a kiosk in your operation, and letting them know that you're doing it as much for them as you are for the customer. It's lightening their load. It's making, especially in the bowling environment specifically, your front desk people now are going to have a lot of those transactions being, conducted at the kiosk, and that's giving them a lot less stress. It's giving them the opportunity to be more personal with the customer, and really, it should be a win-win all the way around.
I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but I had once had a job where I pushed shopping carts, right? One day my buddy calls me to the back. He's like, you got to come see this. I'm like, what? He's all, there's this new machine that they just ordered and it's supposed to push carts. What does this mean? Are we not going to push carts anymore? And
Exactly.
you kind of freak out, but come to find out, instead of me having to push this load of 50 carts at a time, I now get to carry a remote control and guide this thing. So, it does help you. At first you might see negative, but then you just like, hey, this is just here to help me. I'm still here and I'm still going to help the customer, but we also have more help now.
Right. And I think that, it's very important for you to make sure that your staff understands why you're introducing self-service into the model, and also setting the proper expectations with those employees.
Yeah.
So another thing, that's common is to have a greeter at family entertainment centers, bowling centers. Sometimes at restaurants, you even see greeters that are opening the door for you. Welcome. You can place your order here at the kiosk, or you can go to the counter, things along those lines. But, having a greeter direct people to the kiosk is that personal touch. Again, if they want to just simply come in and the greeter welcomes them and they go right straight to the kiosk, but a greeter will also give them that personal touch. Would you like me to show you how to use it? Can I direct you to someplace in the building? It gives them an opportunity to create a conversation and to create a personal touch point with that customer. So I think that so many times we forget that we need to incorporate our employees into it.
Yeah.
Having the title of the show is so very appropriate. Self-service does not mean no service. It means actually quite the opposite. Self-service really gives you the ability to enhance your service.
Yeah,
to
I agree.
create a better experience, to make sure that you're giving that extra little bit of attention to your customers. It's also taken a great deal of stress off of your employees. They appreciate that.
Yeah, and I agree what you said about the greeter, because I think sometimes people see a self-service, kiosk of some sort, and they get a little worried, like, oh, I'm just gonna end up messing up if I do it myself. Let me just go wait in this line. But when you have that greeter there to say, hey, I'm here to help you with it if you do run into a problem, it's gonna make them feel a lot more comfortable. And then once they do use it once, they're gonna be like, oh wow, that was actually pretty easy. And now I don't have to go get in this other line, or that frees up, the front desk to be doing something else while that person's on the self checkout.
Yeah, 100%. And when the transactions are coming through the kiosk for, to get a lane and to play or to check in for a reservation, and you have two people at the front desk, for example, then you actually can deploy one of those people out to mix and mingle with a customer, introduce different games that they can play in your system, introduce other activities that are located in your facility. So it gives you, that opportunity to uh, have that relationship, to better that relationship with the customer, and to let them know all the different things that their experience can include in your center now. So I
Yeah,
think all the way around.
yeah, and I see it kind of, some people want to look at, the glass half empty, like, oh no, there's, a self checkout, five self checkouts, but only one cashier. But if you look at it the opposite way, is, what? There might have only been one cashier in the first place, but now that there's five checkouts, that's five more options you have to go get checked out faster. Where they see it as, they could have five more people on register, but they probably weren't going to have five more people on register. So just like with a bowling center, you see the one person at the front desk. It's not that this is taken away from that. This is actually adding some help. So now you have a front desk person and a kiosk. So it's almost like you have two employees now instead of the one that you were probably just going to originally have.
Absolutely. And, I have to bring up a story because anytime you introduce change into a facility, and especially something like self service, where maybe your employees are thinking, oh my goodness, where is this heading? We're going to get, all these kiosks and I'm going to be without a job. But it's really funny because that's just human nature. And
Yeah.
I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but back in the day, when I first purchased the trouble call system for my center, I remember when my head mechanic, when I was letting him know that we were getting it, he was extremely defensive and said, do you think that we're not doing our job good enough? And I said, no, it's not that at all. And I explained the advantages of having a trouble call system where things were automated and it was reporting things and it was showing exact amount of time that lanes were down and so on and so forth. But the initial reaction was, this is something that I'm now in charge of doing, that something else is going to take over. And the natural reaction is they don't want to embrace it. But when you take the time to explain and set the proper expectations of something, the employee then wants to accept it. They see. And
Yeah.
offering a self-service model in your center and placing kiosks throughout your center, you're doing just as much to help your employee as you are to help with your customer. And we know that today, the younger customers expect to have that option. So
Yeah.
when you let your employees know that you're doing it just as much for them and here's why, and then you're going to start to have them adopt it. Then they're going to start recommending, oh, did you know that you can also order food and beverage at the kiosk instead of wanting to keep it quiet because, oh my goodness, I don't want it to be too successful because then I might be replaced. So take a
Yeah.
look at it through those eyes and make sure that you're letting your employees know that this is for them too.
Yeah, and I think it's just something that's, it's here to stay, obviously, but you see it even with, restaurants nowadays with like the pickup. You can do it from your app. You order from
Mm-hmm.
your app, it's the same thing basically. It's a kiosk in your hand. You order from
Yep.
the app, you walk in, and that person working the front counter could be like, oh man, there's more people coming in, my line's gonna get longer. No, they're here just to pick up their order that they've already ordered. I guarantee you that person at the front, the front register is probably, oh cool, it's not another person in line. I could just control my line I already have here. So it does save time. It's really helping everyone out.
Yes, and also at the end of the day, we hope that it also, as I said, takes pressure off of the staff by controlling some of the crowd through the kiosk, but also it gives the employee the ability to really raise that level of service that it gives to the customers. And when you are able to infuse a little bit of your personality and who you are and create that level of personal service, it's fun, right? And
Yeah.
the staff should be able to enjoy their job a little bit more. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
definitely self-service does not mean no service. It means this is your opportunity to kick it up a notch. Well, Orly, I love this topic, and we will be doing some additional topics on this in the future because, as you said, self service is not going anywhere. It's something that's going to be around for years to come, and we just need to figure out how to work it into our operations to where it's successful for both you as a center and also for the customer as well. So well, listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward for you to tune in next week for another episode of Seeds of Success. We want to equip you with more practical tips, ideas, and trends that'll help your center grow and achieve new levels of success. We really would like for you to share this podcast with your entire team. You know, the more seeds you plant, the bigger the crop. Until next time, keep making bowling amazing and your bottom line larger.